Good evening and welcome to the February 26, 2018 meeting of the Florissant City Council. I'd like to welcome Cub Scout Pack 949 and ask you to please come and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Come right up here to the microphone, please.
Who gets the microphone?
Yep, all the way up. We need to hear you.
All the way up to the line, guys. There you go.
We have a scout there.
Oh, and would you like to come, the scout? Would you like to come up, please, Stu? Thanks. I didn't see him. Thank you. All right, ready? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Hanky? Pagano?
Here.
Parson? Siam? Lee? Jones? Egan? Caputa? Shildroth.
The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to the meeting minutes of February 12, 2018? Hearing none, Councilman Parson moves to approve the minutes, seconded by Mr. Jones. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The meeting minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is hearing from citizens. This is a time to speak to the council on any issue not necessarily on the agenda this evening. You would fill out a yellow card and hand it to our city attorney. None? Wow, okay. We're moving right along. The next item on the agenda is communications, of which there are none. And we'll move on to public hearings. We have public hearing number 1802007.
In accordance with Section 405.310 of the Florissant Zoning Code, a public hearing will be held by the City Council of Florissant, Missouri in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, February 26, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. on the following proposition. To authorize a special use permit to SIP LLC to allow for the operation of a wine bar in a B3 zoning district for property located at 1833 Dunn Road. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or TDD 839-5142.
Thank you. Is the petitioner present? Would you like to come up, please? Good evening. You're going to have to either turn the mic and get close to it. Mm-hmm. Okay, just so we can hear you. So please state your name.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Whitehorn, and I represent SIP Wine Bar, LLC, 1833 Dunn Road, Florissant, Missouri, 63033.
Okay. You want to tell us a little bit about what you're planning?
SIP Wine Bar, it's just a local wine bar with live music, prepackaged food, which would be like cheese and crackers, fresh fruit, a live band mainly during the weekend. The time of operation would be, I should have wrote it down. Sorry. The time of operation is for the live music. Live music would end at 10 o'clock. So it would end at 10 p.m. So it wouldn't be loud, for the residents there. There's like some apartment buildings and all that around. Pretty much that's it.
Okay. I drove up there a couple times and I haven't seen you up there. I am the council rep for that area. So.
Yes, ma'am. I also own the salon that's next to it, Couture Hair Studio.
Okay.
So most of the time that's where I'm at. Right now we stopped the actual work, just so that we can get everything clear with the city before we went any further.
Okay. And the live music, you're not going to have the doors open or anything, because you are very close to those apartments.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. The doors won't be
That's
open.
what I'm sort of worried about up there with that.
Yeah.
And the music's going to be off by 10?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The live music would be off, and after that it'll just be a DJ, but it will close at like 12 o'clock. But it wouldn't be any louder than Rizzo's that was next door. On the weekend they had live music, and then they still had like their jukebox, so it'll still be around the same tone.
Right. With this mix, I have a few more. Okay. Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Madam President. Did you say that your hours of operation, what time?
I'm sorry, they would pretty much be like happy hour time, so it'll start 3 o'clock in the afternoon and end at midnight.
Oh, so you're closing, shutting down at midnight?
Yes,
correct?
sir.
And the music will be over 10 o'clock?
The
you
live
said?
music would,
Live music?
yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And the live music again would be Saturday and Sunday. And Friday, Saturday.
Friday.
And then on Sunday, it's more of like brunch. So
What time will you be closing on Sundays?
on Sunday, I think 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock
Yes, sir.
on Sundays? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you that. You said something about brunch. Is there a kitchen in there, or are you doing prepackaged food?
It'll still
I'm
be
confused.
prepackaged, but it'll be like muffins, cheese, prepackaged food. It wouldn't be any cooking. So just brunch time, brunch hours.
Okay. Mr. Egan? Oh, I did turn you off. I'm sorry. Don't go there. Let's go. Yep.
Thank you, Madam President. The wine you will be serving and the beverages serving, are they going to be in glass containers or plastic containers?
They will be in glass.
Glass containers, and you will not be allowing any go cups, so to speak, although we hope you do keep trash cans outside the front door. I know Timmy Jones is getting ready to ask you that, but I want to make it sure that we're not going to be handing any cups that people can take outside
sir.
and drink on the way or drink out on the parking lot and then litter.
No, sir. We're heading more towards more upscale. So to me, that would be more of like maybe nightclub or bar type, but we're
Right,
looking
right.
for something just a little more upscale. And as far as like the trash cans, the actual strip has trash cans aligned around the whole strip, during
Right.
like on the walkway.
Okay, very good. Thank you. That's all I have. Good luck.
Thank you.
Mr. Lee?
Yeah, Mr. Hessel, I think we were all concerned about the live music, and she indicated they were going to stop the live music at 10 o'clock. Should we amend this bill to include that as a stipulation for the special use permit? Not that, okay. All right, Mrs. Pagano, I'll leave that up to you if you wanted to do that when we get to it. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Parson?
Thank you, Madam President. Ms. Whitehorn, how are you today?
Fine, how are you?
All right. I just have a question about the capacity. How many people would be able to be in this establishment?
At one time, like 65.
65?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's at full capacity.
That's at full capacity?
Yes.
Okay. And definitely no other liquor than just wine, right?
Well, we were looking to hope to do more than wine. So
Okay, okay.
wine is for just a full bar.
Oh, okay.
But
I
more
thought you
so
were doing
the wine.
specifically wine and that was it. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
wine would be the main focus.
Okay. I understand. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Jones?
No, I'm good. I just wanted to, the trash can situation, I try to be strict on the trash cans, but you already explained your situation, that the trash cans outline.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Our landlord is really strict on keeping the strip clean as well.
Okay. And if you, we haven't got a copy of your liquor license yet, or what you've applied for with the county? Have
No, I
you
haven't
done
applied
that?
for it yet because they told me that I
Understood.
had to get approved first for the zoning.
All right.
Because it was a bar at first, but it's been closed longer than 6 months. So that's why we had to do the rezone.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm trying to think of the name of that bar when I was up there today, and what was the name of it?
I can't remember. I know it was quite a few.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember the last one. What was it? AJ's? No.
At one point, I think it was Diane's maybe at one point.
Or Pete's?
Could have been Pete's
Pete's,
too. It's
yeah.
quite a few.
Right. Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, Tiffany, you said that eventually you would be trying to have an open bar or bar-type business along the wine.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
that is a different permit, special use permit or permit for a packet or full bar, full drink by the bar, include beer, wine, and hard liquor.
Yes, sir.
So that would be on a different permit,
Okay.
because wine and full liquor is it's different. Because
Okay.
right now, you're just coming in front of us and just have a wine bar only, and no hard liquor and no beer. So I just wanted to clarify that
Yes,
and let
sir.
you know that.
The license is beer and wine.
Beer and wine is the license.
Beer
Yes.
and wine?
Okay.
Oh, wait just a minute. There you go.
There's two different issues. One is the liquor license, which you may be referring to, Mr. Caputa. And you're right. If there's going to be a full liquor, then that's a different liquor license. But the special use permit,
That's what I was, right.
Will be
Now,
different.
Did I say special use permit?
that's what I heard, I could be wrong.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry, I corrected myself. But yeah, for a hard liquor or liquor, it'd be
A different license.
Different liquor
Yes, sir.
license.
If you wanna, if you're considering that, that's the process that you would have to go through to get that.
Okay.
Mr. Egan.
Oh, okay, so Mr. Hessel, if you could clarify, because I'm not real smart, obviously. With what she's coming in front of council right now, what does that allow Tiffany to serve?
I was looking for the special use permit ordinance. Let me find that. And again, Mr. Caputa was referring to the liquor license. There are different
Yes,
liquor
there's
licenses
different
for
ones.
wine.
My understanding, it was one for even Sunday would be a different one as well.
Correct.
Mr. Hankey, let me,
The proposed use is that of a wine bar, which is special use as a tavern, nightclub, or cocktail lounge under 405.125. What Mr. Caputa is referencing is the liquor licensing is different than, the recommended approval of the special use permit would cover the drinks that you're talking about.
Yes,
The
sir.
liquor license separates that.
different. Yes, sir.
Separates what you can serve.
But to Mr. Egan's question, the ordinance is drafted is to allow for the operation of a wine bar without specifically identifying what is meant by a wine bar. Then in the section 1, it's a special use permit is hereby granted to SIP LLC for the property located at, for the location and operation of a wine bar, subject to various requirements. If you're going to go beyond wine, you may just want to identify it as a restaurant bar, as we've done on thousands, I shouldn't say thousands, many occasions. So that they're not
Cocktail
limited
lounge.
to wine itself,
Okay.
correct? Or some other language, easily correctable for you.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Egan, are you going?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Before we close this public hearing, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this? Seeing none, I will move to close this public hearing, seconded by Mr. Shildroth. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Public hearing number 1802008.
In accordance with Section 405-310 of the Florissant zoning code, a public hearing will be held by the City Council of Florissant, Missouri in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois on Monday, February 26, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. on the following proposition. To authorize a special use permit to MBR Management Corporation, DBA Domino's Pizza, to allow for the operation of a carryout restaurant with pickup window in B3 zoning district for the property located at 8428 North Lindbergh. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or TDD 839-5142.
Thank you. Is the petitioner present?
Hello, I'm Mark Ratterman, and I'm the franchisee for Domino's here in St. Louis. This is Gary Brzezinski. Gary's our regional director for the Missouri stores. And matter of fact, I came here about 30 years ago to apply for a special use permit from Mayor Egan, and this was our very first store in St. Louis for Domino's. And we currently lease space from Gene Egan, Keevan and Jeff Keevan at 8442 North Lindbergh, and it's been a great location for us. It's our first one in St. Louis. And I don't know if you're aware, but Domino's has kind of been going through a transformational phase in the last 5 years, and corporate is requiring all the franchisees to do extensive remodeling for all their stores. And we've been looking for a good location up and down Lindbergh for the last 3 or 4 years. And the building right next door that Mr. Keevan owns has been vacant for the last 2 or 3 years. And we have a contract now to purchase it, and remodel it and make it look like a brand-new building. And that would give us the room to expand our operations a little bit because we're busier now, and add a pickup window. We've been putting in pickup windows in our stores for the last 10 years because it's a great convenience for young families, especially moms or dads that have kids in car seats. So they can just order the pizza ahead of time, they pull up, and they get the pizza and they leave. And it's really nice because they don't have to worry about the kids getting in and out of the van. So it's been really popular. And we've been wanting to do this in the Florissant area for a long time. We just haven't found the right location. And we think this location will really work really well because you can be able to enter off of Lindbergh, pick up your pizza, and then exit back behind our building and behind Mr. Keevan's building onto Bruce Avenue, and then you can come back out to Lindbergh. And we have a cross easement with Mr. Keevan for parking as well as we can go back and forth. So we're really excited about it. We're excited about making the investment in this building, and we think it will really improve the look that's there now.
Mr. Egan?
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Ratterman. My name is Joe Egan, and I represent that area. I'm a little disappointed we couldn't get together before today and discuss this project, but we'll move forward. You are correct. It is a building that needs to be addressed, and I'm very excited about the prospect of Domino's taking that building. I did speak to Mr. Keevan today, and you do have a cross easement access. Are we concerned? I think your drivers are already using that right now, aren't they, to get out to Bruce Drive? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you, two things. You handed me this document. This has got handed to me. How does this change from anything that I've had before?
It really doesn't change anything except that we will add a pickup window where we currently are now. We only have 1,200 square feet, and this new location will give us about 1,800, 1,900 square feet, and then we'll have a pickup window, which will allow, it's really congested where we are now.
Right.
So it'll allow our carryout customers just to use the front parking lot, but if the drivers will use the back parking lot and exit onto Bruce.
Do you anticipate, what issues do you anticipate as they come up to that pickup window? They're actually going to be merging them to the left, correct?
Correct.
How is this going to be marked so that people coming around the building the other way don't have a head-on collision?
It's going to be a one-way out to the back.
So everyone who comes in has to go out the back?
If they use the pickup window, yes. And the drivers, if anybody that enters the back parking lot would have to use Bruce. So if a carryout customer just wanted to come and park in the front of the store, and enter, pick up a pizza, they could still leave out the front. But if there's going to be directional signs, and it's going to be painted very, very specific so that they follow it out to the Bruce. Okay,
I guess my only concern is the customer who picks up their pizza, which sounds like a really good idea to me, and I know they have to be going with the driver's side next to the window, so they're actually would be driving like they're in England, so to speak. But when they get to the end of the building, are they merged out, or when they make that left turn, is there any chance of people coming south on Bruce in the alley to have a collision there?
No, because none of our drivers enter off of Bruce. They only exit onto Bruce.
Okay.
So it'll be, those two lanes will be totally one way going around the building.
Is there any way we can create some signage for vehicles in the alley, in Mr. Keevan's alley, to warn them or alert them that of the pickup window situation? And do you know of any examples in the St. Louis area that I could go take a look at to see? Are there any other examples of this in operation?
Yes. Matter of fact, we just built a brand new store in Lake St. Louis. It's just like this. It has a pickup window on the right, and then it's like a one-way around the building.
Okay.
and it works great.
Could you send that address to Ms. Goodwin so interested council members can make that trip out there? Just to, because that's the only thing that really concerns me is the potentiality of making that left turn there and having a car coming south in the alleyway and having a collision there. That's my only concern.
We don't want that to happen either, so we would be willing to put up the signs to make sure it's real clear.
Very good. As far as the rest of the project, I can't tell you how excited I am. It's a building that has stood vacant and has needed renovation, updating for some time, so I will be wholeheartedly supporting it. I'm glad you decided to stay on my ward.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Siam?
Thank you, Madam President. I just have a couple of questions. One is regarding the traffic pattern that you were talking about. Is there any possibility that maybe some drivers, after they pull up to the pickup window and they get what they want, that they will try to turn around so they can go back out on Lindbergh? And if so, will you do anything about that if people decide to do that? Or
Yeah,
do you just think they won't have any space to do that? Or how does it?
they'll just have, it'll be very well directed because there'll be a lane that they have to follow. It's like a pickup lane.
Okay.
And it just wouldn't make any sense. There's no room
Okay.
really to turn around and go back.
Yeah, that was part of my question.
And what's nice is there's plenty of parking in the front. The carry-out customers that want to pull out, they'll just park in the front.
Okay.
This is really the only issue. It's just for people using the pickup window. And our pickup window is not a traditional, like a drive-through window. We don't have outside speakers, and we don't really have room where there's stacking because people call ahead of time, and it's either you're ready or it's not. And
Okay.
so it's a little different than a typical drive-through.
And did you say earlier that delivery drivers will be leaving on Bruce and coming back on Bruce? So
No.
then,
No, they typically,
Okay.
just like they do now, let's see, on Bruce.
I might have misunderstood. Yeah, okay.
Currently, I guess where we are, they do enter and exit on Bruce.
Okay,
Right, Gary?
Yes, and both.
And that we
Okay.
have some park in front as well,
okay,
but most of them parking back, right, where we are now.
okay. But they can come in from Lindbergh, I guess, and they can leave on Bruce.
Right now, they're coming in from this property, you know, 'cause
Okay.
it's not a one-way. They're coming in right to left and then also going out on Bruce. It's kind of like, depending on which direction they're going.
It's really congested where we are now because there's a subway and there's all these other businesses, and it's really hard to find a parking space in front.
Okay.
Where we are now.
And obviously you're going to be moving out of there, but is there going to be any period of time where the current place is closed and the new place isn't open yet? And do you know, like, if it's going to happen like that and how long that would be if it happens like
I
that?
think we're getting this down pretty good. So I think if we're down, we might only be down a few hours or a day at the most.
Oh, really? It won't even be that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So nothing lengthy or anything like
And
that?
you guys will really be proud of this. When it's done, it's going to look really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Parson?
Thank you, Madam President. I have a two-part question, I guess. My first question is I didn't know if it was clear that you made it clear to us or not. Have you already purchased the new property from Kevin, or you haven't closed on it yet?
We have a contract on it.
Okay.
We haven't closed on it yet. It's contingent on getting approval.
Okay, all right. And then my second part is once you do close and move in at the new location, what are your plans for your current location or your old location? Or is there any plans for that?
No, there's not.
Will you be putting up for sale or?
Mr. Keevan will probably release.
Oh, okay, you leasing that one, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
we're just
okay.
leasing it now.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Madam President. My question was already answered. Thank you.
Before we close this public hearing, is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment on this? Hearing none, Councilman Egan moves to close this public hearing, seconded by Mr. Lee. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The public hearing is now closed. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We will move on to public hearing number 18-02009.
A public hearing will be held by the Florissant City Council in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois in Florissant, Missouri on Monday, February 26, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. on the following proposition: to rezone the property located at 180 Dunn Road from B3 zoning district to establish a new historic district, the John B. Myers House Historic District. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or TD 839-5142. Okay.
Thank you. Well, you're present, so welcome.
I'm Terry Turner. I bought the John Myers house about 2 years ago for a house, and Phil Lum told me I wasn't supposed to live there because it wasn't zoned right. So that's what prompted this change. But I've been doing I do a lot of the work myself, and I've restored the front porches and be working on the back porches this coming year, summer. And I've cleaned the basement, which took 5 dumpsters, and there are 6 cubic yard dumpsters. So just clean up and maintenance is what I've been doing on it.
Right.
And I bought it as a house, not realizing that Nancy Quaid had a shop on the first floor. And I told them they could stay as long as their parties didn't have a lot of police calls. So, they've been real good.
How's that going? Yeah, I was going to ask you. It's a beautiful house. It just
I agree.
truly is. So. Mr. Shildroth?
Thank you, Madam President. Hi, Mr. Turner, how you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Great. How about a time frame? You say you've been working on it, doing a lot of the work by yourself.
That's right.
Do you have any kind of time frame of what you think that, will you be complete with all your
Someone
renovations?
asked how long the project would take, and I told them about 20 years. So, but that would include, it has frescoes on all the walls and ceilings. And I had a gentleman, Peter Wallenberg, who does restoration work, come over and show me how to clean the latex off of the frescoes. And he checked the paint colors and things like that. And when I selected I used multiple colors on the porches, and I got that cleared with the landmarks people before I did it.
Can you tell me about some of the work you're doing on the barn also behind you?
I haven't tackled the barn. It needs a lot of work.
Okay, so right now there's nobody in there and it's all
Oh, no,
shut
there's
down?
no one, and there's no water supply for the barn. When I bought the house, I discovered a big water leak under the pavement and a big gas leak for the house.
Okay.
And so the gas company ran a new line, and I had a new circuit breaker box put in. And then the carpenter had to do the repair on the porch, a lot of spindles, and put in a new flooring. And then I had the roofer came over and repaired one spot for me. Okay. And then I have a plumber, and it was rewired in the 70s, and has a good high efficiency furnace. Okay. Actually 2 furnaces and 2 air conditionings. So the entrails of the house were in good shape.
The ladies who do the quilting, are they there a couple days a week, or?
I didn't hear that.
The ladies who do the quilters, are they there a couple days a week, or?
No, they're there every day of the week.
Okay, because Mr. Lee and I are familiar with one of the ladies, and I know they were ecstatic that you let them stay on.
Well, that's
because
good.
They've been there quite some time.
That's good.
Yeah.
I tell them if I get lonesome at home, I just come up there and have lunch.
Well, I appreciate you taking an interest in this historic property and
Oh,
support your endeavors.
On the project, the building is stable. So what I'm doing are just improvements. Like I did find that there's a kitchen in the basement. They had a winter kitchen. And I'm going to have a mason come over and redo the fireplace and everything. Then it would mainly be furnishing it. And I have a 6-room apartment on the 2nd floor that's furnished, but there's no kitchen, and they'd taken the bathtub out, and it's back of the barn. So I think I'll have it restored and redo the full bathroom eventually.
Okay, that's all I have right now. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you. Is that all?
No, sorry. Mr. Siam?
Thank you. My question's been answered already.
Mayor?
Yeah, Mr. Turner, we're very happy that you are occupying that building and are committed to the long haul, which what it takes for historic preservation. That building is one of the most precious buildings that's in our city limits. Can you maybe just, since you have the opportunity, would you care to share some of the features of the building? I know that was originally designed and before air conditioning was common in houses. It sort of air conditioned itself the way it was built, I believe.
That's right. It has the transoms over the doors and the widow's walk on the top, on the roof. They would open that up to have the air go through. The little room on the third floor, it only has a 5'6" ceiling, so it's just a little, not even a storage room, but a space so they could get up and then go up onto the widow's walk. And the building was very stable. I mean, by that, it has brick walls on either side of the staircase, and of course on the outside. And on the inside, I don't notice the noise from the highway, but there are 17 lanes of traffic in front of my house. And on the porch upstairs, when I was working, if someone called, I would have to go inside to hear them because you can't hear on the outside like that. Not on the phone anyway.
Thank you. Before we close this public hearing, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? Would you like to come up? Oh,
Shall I
did
stay?
she want to speak? Is this your wife?
I'll just stay.
Yeah. Do you want to speak? Shall I speak? No, you need to come up to the mic.
This is my neighbor.
Oh, your neighbor. Okay, you just need to state your name and address, please, and please talk into the mic.
Nancy Quaid, 630 Gatewood Drive. Excuse me. I'm here to support Terry because he's such a great guy and he has saved one of our icons. And I've been at the Myers house for 30 years, so I was delighted that I could stay. I own the weaving department, not the quilt shop.
Oh, there you go.
Quilt shop is now in St. Charles, unfortunately. But we're downstairs now, and people love it to come there. So do you have any questions for me?
There you go. No, thank you, though.
You're welcome.
Seeing no further comments, Councilman Childrath moves to close this public hearing, seconded by Mr. Caputa. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. The next item on the agenda is old business. First item under old business is second readings. We have bill number 9339. And at the request of the petitioner, Councilman Childrath moves to postpone this bill, seconded by, let me get to the postponed date of March 12, 2018, seconded by Mr. Egan. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Mr. Childrath, did you want to say
I
something?
just wanted to make that motion, that's all.
Okay. All right. All right, all in favor? Yes? Opposed? Motion carried. Bill number 9349. Councilman Siam moves for a second reading, seconded by Mr. Hanky. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance authorizing amendment to B5 ordinance number 5733 as amended to allow for the remodeling of a retail establishment target for the property located at 2341 North Highway 67.
Councilman Siam moves for a third reading, seconded by Mr. Hanky. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance authorizing an amendment to B5 ordinance number 5733 as amended to allow for the remodeling of a retail establishment target for the property located at 2341 North Highway 67.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this bill? Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Hanky? Pagano?
Yes.
Parson? Cyan? Lee? Jones? Egan? Caputa? Shildroth.
Bill number 9349 passes and becomes ordinance number 8387. Bill number 9350. Councilman Cyan.
Thank you, Madam President. I was just going to move to amend the ordinance to allow for the 32-foot sign as we got in this drawing a little while ago.
Do the second reading first.
Yes.
That would then call for an amendment to section 1, subsection 1F. It presently reads, proposed ground sign shall be 25 feet tall, should be changed to 32. And I would also suggest that we also amend E, where it says shopping center ground sign location A dated April 19, 2017. I know there was discussion about changing that location. I've asked Mr. Lum for some guidance as to how that can be amended, and I haven't received any. But we did receive a plan this evening from Chick-fil-A, so in addition to the proposed amendment that Mr. Cyan made, I would also, after that's done, propose a second amendment, and I'll cover that after you address this first one.
Okay, so we're going for the 32-foot sign as of now, correct? Amended. Seconded by Mr. Shildroth. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. So before we read it again, we're going to
I would recommend.
amend again.
Correct. That
E?
you amend section 1, subsection 1E, which currently reads shopping center ground sign, location A, dated April 19, 2017. I would propose that you amend that to simply read shopping center ground sign in accordance with drawing received February 26, 2018.
All right. Are you making that motion? Okay. That motion is made by Mr. Parsons, seconded by Mr. Hanky. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, so we're in the second reading with,
So we need to make a motion for a second reading.
oh, that's right, I called on you. So Councilman Siam's making a motion to Bill 9349 and the amendments.
Just second reading on
Second reading on
Bill
9349
As amended.
as amended.
as amended.
All
All in favor?
in favor?
Give me a second.
Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance to authorize a special use permit to Chick-fil-A Incorporated DBA Chick-fil-A to allow for the establishment of a sit-down, carry-out, and drive-through restaurant and signage for the property located at 1 Flower Valley Shopping Center.
Thank you. Councilman Parsons, are you making? Make a motion for a third? Thank you. Seconded by Mr. Hanky. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance to authorize a special use permit to Chick-fil-A Incorporated DBA Chick-fil-A to allow for the establishment of sit-down, carry-out, and drive-through restaurant and signage for the property located at number 1 Flower Valley Shopping Center.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? Mayor?
Yeah, I just want to let everybody that wants to get in line to wait until the building is built.
All right. Hearing no further comments, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Hanky?
Yes.
Pagano?
Yes.
Parson? Cyan? Lee? Jones? Egan? Caputa? Shildroth.
Bill number 9350 passes and becomes ordinance number 8388. The next item on the agenda is new business. The first item in new business is board appointments. Mr. Hanky?
Yes, I'd like to reappoint Mr. Ben I to the Parks Board.
I will second that. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The appointment is made. Yes.
I'd like,
Mayor?
thank you, Madam President. I'd like to reappoint Jules Blair to the Environmental Quality Commission, and we're going to have some openings soon. So if you guys could help us find some new applicants for the Environmental Quality Commission, I'd appreciate it.
Councilman Egan moves to approve the mayor's appointment, seconded by Mr. Jones. All in favor? Aye. The appointment is made. The next item on the agenda is request. Councilman Cyan moves to approve a full liquor by the drink license for Al's Lounge located at 2731 North Highway 67. Seconded by Mr. Hanky. Roll call, please.
Hanky? Yes. Pagano?
Yes.
Parson? Yes. Cyan? Yes. Lee? Yes. Jones? Yes. Egan? Yes. Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth?
Yes.
The liquor license is approved. Councilman Shildroth moves to approve the application for Linda Myers to keep 4 chickens located at 6 Blanchette.
Oops, that's John Reese. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, wrong thing. Okay.
Sorry, I apologize.
For John Reese to keep 4 chickens located at number 6 Blanchette. Seconded by Mr. Egan. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Sorry. The next item on the agenda is first readings. We have bill number 9362.
Ordinance amending ordinance number 8366 by adding a new section 3 to clarify the treatment of payments being made in accordance with ordinance number 8366.
Mr. Egan?
I'd like to offer an amendment on section 3.
Before you do that, you should actually make a motion for a second reading.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Shildroth moves for a second reading, seconded by Mr. Egan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Oh, discussion?
Correct.
Shoot, I stopped. Now we're amending. We're backing up to discussion. You weren't in favor yet.
Correct.
There we go. Mr. Egan?
And thank you. I want to make a motion to amend the ordinance in section 3 by eliminating paragraph number 4, and I'll defer to Mr. Hessel for an explanation.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Egan. Mr. Hessel, would you like to?
I would. Let me preface my comments by saying that I strongly recommend that the motion to amend by deleting subsection 4 under section 3 be approved. The reason I say that is that was mistakenly included by my office, and I can't apologize enough for that. As a matter of explanation, this legislation comes to you because, as this council well knows, the intent of the retirement incentive program that was adopted by this council was to provide the incentives detailed in that ordinance, but it was never the intent of the city council to treat those incentives, and again, for purpose of the record, those incentives are compensation for sick leave and compensation for the lump sum. There was no inclusion of vacation pay. That's why that should be excluded from this ordinance. And if I may go on, the purpose of the amendments, as we put in the title, is to clarify that the treatment of sick leave payments and lump sum payments should not be considered as compensation under the retirement plans. My office carefully scrutinized those retirement plans, and there's 2 of them. There's the defined benefit plan and a defined contribution plan. We reviewed both of those plans, and in our opinion, there is a specific exclusion titled extraordinary remuneration, and clearly the benefits that are identified in your ordinance in the retirement incentive program, meaning the lump sum payment and the sick leave payment, are extraordinary payments. It's something that we have never done before. They're unusual, they're unique. All the definitions for extraordinary fit those 2 payments. So for that reason, we want to clarify that those kinds of payments are not treated as compensation under the respective pension plans. And similarly, we are also clarifying that those payments should be made after the retirement date itself for the same reasons. That's consistent. Again, I apologize, we included the reference to vacation because there is a reference to vacation in the pension plans. But we should not have taken the quantum leap to change what currently exists. And that's what this amendment would do. Again, I'll apologize for the same reason that we should not have included it. And again, we strongly recommend that that provision be excluded so that employees are not being treated any differently than they would be under the normal circumstances.
Perfect, thank you. So now we're in an all in favor, no? Yes? For the amendment?
Right. There's a motion
Your motion
to
is
amend and
seconded.
seconded.
To amend to the second,
So you vote on that.
Yes.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, I'm sorry. So you reading it again?
Now we need to vote on this, on the second reading
No, now you need to read it.
as amended.
Now
Remember,
we
she
read it.
reversed. Now you do
Oh,
read
yeah,
it
I
for
need
the
to read it now.
second
Yes, I
time.
do.
Oh,
Okay.
good, I'm glad it
We all
wasn't me
confused.
this
Okay.
time.
It's true. Ordinance amending ordinance number 8366 by adding a new section 3 to clarify the treatment of payments being made in accordance with ordinance number 8366.
So you now vote on the second reading. No. There's
I have a
motion
light on
pending.
again.
All in favor of the second reading?
All in favor of the second reading? Aye.
Opposed.
Opposed, but I had a light on, that's why I didn't know if we're still in discussion. That's why.
I apologize if I cut
That's
anybody
okay,
off.
that's where my confusion was coming on. So can I take the discussion now before?
You have to make a motion for a third reading?
Okay, somebody make a motion. Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Okay,
Now discussion.
Now we're gonna go back into discussion. Mr. Lee?
Thank you. And Mr. Hessel, I think you did clarify, just for the clarification, the city council was unanimous in our support of this bill to provide this incentive, but I think we all agree that there was never an intent to make that incentive or as part of the pension bonanza, which it became. So I appreciate all the hard work that Louis Rice put into this. I think there were 3 attorneys that looked at it and confirmed that definitely those things should not be included. So I'm also going to apologize to the employees that may have relied on information that they were given that was incorrect, and encourage them to seek out correct information and make their decisions based upon that. So never was the intent, and I don't think anybody up here feels good that it happened. I'm also glad that it was caught early and that we could correct it before we got into the big retirement part of it. That's all I have.
Okay, so we had the motion for the third, but we need a roll call, right?
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Hanky? Yes. Pagano?
Yes.
Parson? Yes. Cyan? Yes. Lee? Yes. Jones? Yes. Egan? Yes. Caputa? Yes. Shildroth? Yes. Ordinance amending ordinance number 8366 by adding a new section 3 to clarify the treatment of payments being made in accordance with ordinance numbers 8366.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this bill? Hearing none, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Hanky? Yes. Pagano?
Yes.
Parson? Yes. Cyan? Yes. Lee? Yes. Jones? Yes. Egan? Yes. Caputa? Yes. Shildroth? Yes.
Bill number 9362 passes and becomes ordinance number 8389. Bill number 9363.
Ordinance authorizing 32 hours of paid administrative leave per year for unclassified employees.
Bill number 9364, and this, do I amend it now on the floor for the music? I'm not going to go in 3. First reading, do I have to amend it for the first reading? The one on the,
No.
No.
No, you would
Okay,
not.
next time, okay. So bill number 9364.
Ordinance to authorize a special use permit to SIP LLC to allow for the operation of a wine bar for the property located at 1833 Dunn Road.
Bill number 9365.
Ordinance to authorize a special use permit to MBR Management Corporation, DBA Domino's Pizza, to allow for the operation of a carry-out restaurant with pickup window for the property located at 8428 North Lindbergh.
Bill number 9366.
Ordinance amending section 405-161 of the Florissant zoning code to establish a new historic sub-district to be named the John B. Myers House Historic District.
Bill number 9367.
Yeah. I had to read that different, I apologize. 9367. Ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of Florissant to enter into a program agreement for federal funding for the project number STP-5622601 for the improvement of the intersection of St. Ferdinand and North Highway 67.
Oh, okay. I would like to suspend the rules and ask Mr. Gerald if he can come up and explain this bill. Seconded by Mr. Shildroth. All in favor? Good evening.
Good evening. Again, my name is Lou Geralds, Director of Public Works, City of Florissant. Reference this bill, we applied for a grant with East West Gateway to improve the entrance to St. Ferdinand Park. We were awarded that grant, so this allows us to proceed with that grant process. So it's a good deal for us, 80% reimbursement grant.
Wow. Yes, that's wonderful. All right. So,
Would it be helpful for it to be 3 readings?
Yes, it would.
It would.
3 readings would be
That's
helpful.
what I was-
I appreciate it.
Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, Lou, what are the plans of redoing it? I mean, what, your scope, the way it is now, are you gonna, I know some of it's blacktop, are you gonna replace it all with concrete? Or?
It'll be mostly blacktop. We'll have curbs and gutters. We're going to try and widen it out and do additional landscaping, lighting, really make it an impressive entrance into the jewel of the city. Right.
It'll look nice.
Yeah, it should be really nice when we get done.
Do you have any
Got a lot
kind
of
of
power
plans yet?
poles to move, but no, yeah, we're in the process of, we did an initial, like, site plan, but no, we haven't got any plans and specs ready to go yet.
Right,
No.
good. Thank you.
Okay. That's that. So I will make a motion to move for a second reading. Seconded by Mr. Hanky. Any discussion? We got it. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Florissant to enter into a program agreement for federal funding for project number STP-5622601 for the improvement of the intersection of St. Ferdinand and North Highway 67.
I will move for a third reading. Seconded by Mr. Lee. Roll call, please.
Hanky? Pagano?
Yes.
Parson? Siam? Lee? Jones? Egan? Caputa? Shildroth?
Yes.
Ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Florissant to enter into a program agreement for federal funding for the project number STP-5622601 for the improvement of the intersection of St. Ferdinand and North Highway 67.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this bill? Thank you, Mr. Gerald, for all that hard work on that grant. That's going to be a great thing. Hearing no further comments, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Hanky? Yes. Pagano?
Yes.
Parson? Yes. Siam? Lee? Jones? Egan? Caputa? Shildroth?
Bill number 9367 passes and becomes ordinance number 8390. So we have bill number 9368.
Ordinance amending revenue account number 034033300, miscellaneous revenue in the amount of $371,140 and appropriating the sum of $463,925 from the Capital Improvement Fund to account number 0350, professional services for the replacement of St. Anthony Bridge over Fountain Creek.
Okay, I would like to suspend the rules. Do you have Mr. Gerald explain this? Seconded by Mr. Shildroth. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, this is a grant from the East West Gateway Coordinating Council, and funds were allocated last year to replace the bridge, St. Anthony Bridge over Fountain Creek. We were not able to get that out for bids, so we didn't spend any money last year. We'd like to roll that money over and the revenues for those monies into this year's budget.
Is this something that needs to be done as an emergency, or can we?
Well, I'd like to have an E on this one too. I mean, we're ready to roll on this one.
You are?
Yes,
Okay.
we're ready to get it out for bids, yeah. And to get coordinated with the construction climate
All right.
season coming up, yep.
Perfect. Mr. Caputa, I'm sorry, moves for a second reading, seconded by Mr. Jones. Discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance amending revenue account number 034-03300, miscellaneous revenue in the amount of $371,140 and appropriating the sum of $463,925 from the capital improvement fund to account number 0350, professional services for the replacement of the St. Anthony Bridge over Fountain Creek.
Mr. Caputa moves for a third reading, seconded by Mike. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to speak?
Lou, what do you think the time frame is on this? Because it's a pretty busy thoroughfare, barring no weather, crazy weather.
Right, I imagine it's going to take about a good 3 months to get this up, and old one tore down, new one put up. It'll be a precast concrete, so
Okay.
it should go fairly quick.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to second that third reading?
Sure.
Thank you. Oh, wait just a minute.
Lou, while we have the opportunity, just to let the public know that for the last 40 years or so, we are way ahead of the curve of the rest of the nation with our bridge infrastructure in particular. You want to just kind of give us a brief summary on that?
Well, a quick summary dates back to 1986 when we had a hole in one of our bridges over on Waterford over Paddock Creek. And at that time, I don't know if too many members of the council were on board at that time, but I had the city engineer do a slideshow on all the different bridges. And after the slideshow, several people decided they weren't going to travel over those bridges and box culverts ever again. So we were able to get money from the city council to do a comprehensive study on all our bridges. And because of that, for about 3 or 4 years running, we were able to get reimbursement grant money from the East-West Gateway Coordinating Account to replace bridges throughout the city. This bridge at this point is the last one that we qualify for. All our bridges are in great shape after this. So we don't have anything on the horizon that is going to need replacement or repairs. So we're in really good shape. Way ahead of the curve as far as the country.
Good. Thank you. Roll call, please.
I might add that the mayor helped.
Okay. Thank you.
For-
That's why you were trying to.
The look you gave me, I figured I better get it in there, yeah. I think he was the only one here that was during that period. Yeah. Yeah.
Hanky? Yes. Pagano?
Yes.
Parson? Yes. Siam? Lee? Jones? Yes. Egan? Yes. Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth? Yes. Ordinance amending revenue account number 034-03300, miscellaneous revenue in the amount of $371,140 and appropriating the sum of $463,925 from the capital improvement fund to account number 0350, professional services for the replacement of the St. Anthony Bridge over Fountain Creek.
Thank you. Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this bill? Hearing none, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Hanky? Yes. Pagano?
Yes.
Parson? Yes. Siam? Yes. Lee? Yes. Jones? Yes. Egan? Yes. Caputa? Yes. Shildroth?
Yes.
Bill number 9368 passes and becomes ordinance number 8391.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is council announcements. Mr. Hanky?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. On a serious note, I got a two-part thing here. First, I would like to observe a moment of silence for the school shooting victims in the state of Florida. Thank you. Also, on that same subject, without getting on a soapbox here, I'm no better or worse than anyone else, but some would argue with that, but I think it's time in this country that maybe we have a civilized discussion on whether, what side of the issue you are on gun control, gun legislation, gun owner, non-gun owner. All I ask, and as they say, all politics is local, in our own little world, and when we talk to our family and friends and people, that we at least try to have a civilized discussion on gun controls, because these tragedies have to end. How? It's way out of my pay grade, but that's all I ask, is that we civilize when we discuss it with each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Parson?
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to remind everyone to get to know their Florissant 5. If you don't know what Florissant 5 is, get to know 5 of your closest neighbors. Take advantage of the nice weather we'll have at least by tomorrow to speak with your neighbors. I believe that it helps in deterring crime. And also, you want to get to know what's going on with people. If they are not keeping up their yard, it may be because they have an illness or something like that. And I think it changes the environment of Florissant, and it continues to have that the peace and the love that we always want to have in our neighborhoods. The other thing is I just want to acknowledge we're ending the month of February, which is Black History Month. And I just want to note that on February the 26th of 1926, Carter G. Woodson started Negro History Week, and then this week would later become Black History Month. So that became the source of Black History Month, and I just wanted to notify everyone of that in case you didn't know. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Shildroth?
Thank you, Madam President. Last week, Mr. Caputa, Mr. Parson, myself, and Mr. Tom Goldkamp, representing the staff and administration, attended a fuse wrap meeting concerning Coldwater Creek and the cleanup process. I had specific questions about Duchenne Park and remediation, which was done last summer, and they are through with Duchenne Park. They are in the process of testing a residential area around that area, and the creek bed itself is a long, prolonged process, and it was very informative. And you can be advised that I will be staying on top of this issue, as will staff, specifically when it concerns our city. Thank you.
Mr. Lee?
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody that this Sunday, Florissant Old Town Partners will be hosting we used to call it the pancake breakfast, but it's going to be a breakfast at Hendel's. Hendel's will be opening at 8 o'clock. And anyone that comes and dines for breakfast they will be making a donation to Florissant Old Town Partners. So I invite everybody to join me. I'll be working up there and then having breakfast afterwards. So encourage everybody to come. It's a good breakfast at Hendel's and a good cause for Old Town Partners. Thanks.
Thank you.
And Wednesday nights out are not that far away, folks.
Mr. Jones?
Yep, I'd like to give a shout out to the team like I always do. Extra canned goods, some change in the car, get a little bit of an overtime check. Can you run a 20 down there? They're always looking for volunteers. Please stop by. There's always somebody hungry morning, noon, or night. And I just want to say these last couple of meetings ain't been the same without Mr. Engelmeyer been here. So my hat's off to you, Big John Engelmeyer.
Mr. Egan?
Thank you, Madam President. This past weekend was our kickoff weekend for the St. Ferdinand Barbecue and Basketball Tournament that goes through the month of March. It's our version of March Madness here in Florissant. We're benefiting the Cooper Tracy family this year. Cooper's little 3-year-old boy been diagnosed with neuroblastoma, and he's got a big road in front of him. His family's very dear to the Old Town area and to the city of Florissant. So come out and see us the next 4 weekends. Come out and buy a burger or a brat or pork steak. We have award-winning barbecue. There's some great games that are going on between the 3rd and 4th graders. It's just really a great event. We really appreciate all the people who came out and saw us this weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, there is something that we concocted called the St. Ferdinand Burger. I would suggest that it is absolutely fabulous, but it's not for the timid. I think it has a burger, cheese, onions, jalapenos and pulled pork on it, so it's pretty good stuff. Come by and get a St. Ferdinand burger or whatever else you want. Thank you very much. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you. Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, like I always say, make sure if you own a firearm, make sure you keep that firearm secure. Do not keep it in your vehicle unlocked. Make sure you lock up your vehicles so that people can't come around and start just rummaging through your vehicles. Like to piggyback on what Mr. Shuldroff said about the Foos Wrap. When we attended that meeting, right now they are doing testing around by the St. Ferdinand, going north by St. Ferdinand Park through the creek, going north, and finishing up all their testing into the Missouri River. They have no results on these tests yet. The tests are being performed as we speak. Well, not right at this minute, but on a daily basis, they are in the creek doing their testing from St. Denis Bridge into the Missouri River, and are abound St. Ferdinand Park at this time. Another thing, make sure you join your Neighborhood Watch program. Be very active in your Neighborhood Watch program. It does work. It does deter crime. Make sure your lighting's very good deterrent for crime. Make sure you keep your porch light on. Keep your house as light as you can, and so we can cut down on the crime, because crime is decreased in the city. Let's keep it up. Another thing, last Tuesday, I believe it was the 20th, we had a work session meeting, and there was about 6 things on the agenda, and this meeting was called around January 30th. The meeting was called, and so Tuesday night during this meeting, we had no kind of representation from the administration. We had no kind of cooperation with the administration on the agenda items. It was a very simple work session. It should have been, and it turned into a big waste of time because we never had no kind of help from the administration. This has been, in the past, we have had problems with this in the past on work sessions where we don't have no cooperation with the administration. It seems like it's every work session we have, this is the same old story. So I think it was, we need an explanation of why we had no kind of cooperation on this work session, because work sessions are very productive. We get a lot done on these work sessions, but lately it seems that we have no cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. I'll answer that question right now, and maybe the city attorney might want to help me with this. Mr. Hessel and I talked about this very thing. We've been concerned for quite a long time that it would be advisable for us to have these work sessions, as you want to call them, and have them executive sessions. I've asked for this since I've been mayor. We do this the same nights as we have a council meeting, which we did for decades very successfully when the city attorney is present, and we have likelihood for the majority of the council to be present. The administration's geared up to get prepared for the Monday night meetings by throwing in work sessions willy-nilly in between. It throws the administration off kilter. So we explained all those reasons in a memorandum to the council last week that you were given at your meeting. But it's no secret that I prefer to meet with the council on council nights. We'll meet until 3 in the morning if you want to. We'll meet anytime earlier than that, earlier than the meetings. The meetings used to start at 8 o'clock for that reason, so we had plenty of time for executive session prior to the meeting. That worked for decades without any problems. So that's been my position for as long as I've been in this office.
Mr. Lee.
Well, thank you. I wasn't going to speak, but I feel compelled to speak now. In the 15 years that I've been on the council, we have had periodic council work sessions. They've always been very, very, very productive. It's an opportunity to sit down in an informal climate and be able to kick things around and say, what do we want to do? Where do we want to go? There's no secret discussions. They're open to the public. People are in. Actually, we've invited the public to participate in the more recent ones. So I find that as a cop-out. I don't see a reason to pay the city attorney to sit there while we talk about long-term projects. We had 6 budget work sessions this year. We didn't have the city attorney there. And I'm going to concur with Mr. Caputa that I feel kind of disrespected that this was scheduled weeks in advance. We wanted to talk about important issues like the status of the Justice Center. We were promised, if I recall correctly, at one of these work sessions that we would get updates on that. We've gotten not a single update since then. We had other items on the agenda that we wanted to discuss, and it required us to ask questions of department heads. I believe, Mr. Hessel, we can compel a department head to come to a work session and address the city council. The mayor is always a welcome guest. This is a city council meeting. The mayor is a welcome guest at our city council meeting. It's not a mayor's meeting. When we have a council work session, the mayor is a welcome guest and an invited guest at these work sessions. But for him to specifically tell department heads, do not go, and I find that very, very disrespectful. He allows a department head to come to this meeting because it was something that he wanted to talk about, which was something that we were not prepared to talk about, that was not even on the agenda that night. And then that department head, at the end of the presentation, hands out this letter saying that that's why nobody's going to be here, and he doesn't like work sessions and so on and so forth. So I wasn't going to speak, but I kind of feel compelled to speak. And Mrs. Pagano and future president, I hope you continue to have work sessions because they are very beneficial. I don't think most of us want to sit here till 3 o'clock in the morning. I think we would much rather, on a council night where we have council business to it, I think we would rather schedule these things periodically as we've done for the 15 years that I've been on the council and be able to sit back and talk about things that are important to our city so that we don't get stuck with problems like we've encountered maybe in the past 2 years. So that's all I have to say, and no disrespect meant by those comments.
Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, this meeting was scheduled, like Mr. Lee said, weeks beforehand. And if you can't get the department heads on the same page in a week's time, there's something wrong. I mean, that's 2-3 weeks of getting prepared for a work session. We do it. I mean, and we have to work, and we work during the day also, and we do this at night when we get off of work. We have to go do what we have to do for the citizens of this city. And I believe that is totally disrespectful for what just happened last week. It was a big waste of time. Now, if it just happened to be that way, I don't know. Or if it was planned that way, coincidence, I don't know. But that's each person needs to be a judge of that. But I just think that we need to have a little bit more cooperation with the administration on our work sessions. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to try to compose myself when I say that, but as president of this council, I send an email to everyone here trying to find a date for a work session that usually over a month in advance, and I get everyone's date, and I do my best to find a date that works with everyone and everyone's work schedule that they can make it. These are very productive meetings. It's in a casual setting. You bounce things off. You get reports of what things are doing. On that night, which I wasn't going to bring any of this up that night. I was not aware that when I had this meeting, that again was scheduled a month in advance, and the agenda set, that I was not going to get a department head or the administration. And the way that I found out was someone walking in the door, and I don't even think our city clerk knew at the time that I was not going to have anyone there. And someone asked me if I would let another department head speak who was not on the agenda. And then I was told, and I said, well, why? And because the mayor would like a change and we need to discuss this. And I said, well, isn't he going to be here? No, he is not. And I said, well, are my department heads going to be there? And it was, no, they are not. So to get this from a member and not have the respect enough, I give him the respect to send him the schedule. I would respect that you would email me, call me, I am available, you know every one of my numbers, and just say I am not going to make it. But to go into a meeting, and I would think you would have wanted to been at that meeting because we have 2 committee reports that we were going to give, and we did give the committee reports, and you have no idea what we're doing on the budget committee, and I don't know if you have any idea what we're doing on the salary committee. So that right there puts it in. In November, I asked for a court update. We were to get those every 2 weeks and be able to attend a meeting here and there to see it. The response I got in the letter from the mayor that night, which was handed off by someone else, was said the court date is moving ahead of schedule. That was my update on the court building. I have no idea what to tell my residents who live right in that surrounding area. Not one idea. The next was Coke Pool. I feel sorry for the residents over there. I know Mr. Jones has had plans, and the pool committee has had plans, and that's what we wanted to discuss. And the president of the park board happened to be in the audience that night because she wanted to hear what was going on with Coke Pool. And again, we had no department head or nothing, and they were told not to come. Mr. Jones and I worked very hard on, along with our Public Works Department and a code enforcement officer, on the crime-free rental program, which actually has helped our city tremendously in the year and a half that it was in place. All I wanted to find out was have all the landlords taken the class and have all the business license fees come in and what we're going to do with that money this year. But again, I was disrespected enough and the mayor chose not to send him. So now I don't know, do I send an email to get my responses? When do I get a total court update? Because without the court updates, I think, I'm sorry, I'm jumping back, because with the court building, as much as we've been through on that building and the price has gone up and the mistake and some of the monies that need it, I don't know if you need more money, or if everything's ordered or not ordered, or if we're going to have furniture, if there's any problems with it. But I'm just going to tell you, and this is me alone, and if you come and you asked us to allocate more money to this court building, and I have not had an update, and there's no furniture, you may be sitting on the floor. Because I will not do it without having an update and knowing where this money's going. I just can't justify it anymore. So I will get off my bandwagon, but as far as work session, as long as I am still president, I will continue to schedule them. If he chooses not to go, then that is your prerogative, and I will make my same soapbox that I am now. So, Mr. Jones.
Well, I think it's kind of evident to everybody that this council is trying to push this city in a good direction. We work very hard, and it just seems like the mayor is stopping us. I don't know why. It's very hard to figure out, but we meet at those meetings and we get a lot of things done at those meetings. But for him not to send management there, we don't understand that, because We, the council, are trying to move the city. The mayor is stopping us. Why? You people need to ask him, because he won't let us know.
Thank you, Mayor. You can continue your announcements.
Mr. Hessler, do you have anything that you'd like to add to that?
The only thing I will add is I'm not sure why I'm being brought into this discussion, quite frankly. And I'm surprised by it, so that everybody's clear. I will always show respect to the mayor and always show respect to the city council. As everyone knows, I represent other municipalities, so I have a lot of night meetings. But to the extent that I can accommodate the city council, and I've been doing it for 32 years and would like to continue doing that, I will accommodate the city council whenever I can. To the mayor's point, did we have a discussion about how I selfishly would prefer to have a meeting, a work session meeting, on the same night as the city council meeting? Well, the answer is, of course, because the second and fourth Mondays of every month, I'm going to Florissant. I'll guarantee it. So, selfishly, would I like that? Well, of course. But that doesn't mean that I won't accommodate the city council. Do other city councils, when I am needed, which isn't all the time on work sessions, do they frequently schedule work sessions when I'm needed as the same night of council meetings? Yeah, they do, and I appreciate that courtesy, but I'll make the same comment. If the city council needs to meet on some other night and I'm available and you want me there, I will be there. Would I prefer the second and fourth Mondays? Well, yeah, because I'm here for obvious reasons. So that's the extent of my involvement in this.
Thank you. Mr. Hudson, would you need to be here for updates on things such as what was on the agenda on Tuesday night? Would that have been something that I've never had you at one, unless I would call an executive session before the meeting if I thought that you were needed. But as far as updates from members, or a court building update or a Coke pool update, would that be something that I would need a legal opinion for and to have you there?
Typically not.
Okay.
I always, if you need a legal opinion from me, I'm happy to be there. A lot of times it's gathering of information, and I'm happy to say that I'm not involved in a lot of those decisions. I just do legal.
Right.
So.
And let me ask you this. In order to schedule a work session on a Monday night, may I just ask the floor right now, how early can you get here? 6? Okay, some of the work sessions can be 2 hours long, some can be 15 minutes. So if I were going to start one, would everyone take off work and, Joe, can you get off at 4? But would that be really worth it for you to take your time off of your job to do it? Jeff?
Hard to do for me.
Thank you.
What do you
Keith? 4 o'clock? Okay. So it doesn't.
I want the council to understand, I work for you, so you tell me what you need me to do.
Exactly, but I'm trying to stress the point that other people do have jobs with other employees, and to get them here at a reasonable time and still have a break to go home and maybe say hi to their family, grab a quick bite to eat, and to get here, it's sometimes almost impractical. And I do not like staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning. So, Mr. Lee.
Yeah, I'm also going to reiterate something that was implied, but it was said. The president of the city council routinely calls executive sessions when there are issues where we feel that the city attorney should be present, or we might need his assistance to do that. The city attorney has never been asked to a routine work session or to a budget work session. We've even talked about the fact that a lot of times you don't even see the budget until it's published. Those are matters for the city council. And we've always included the city attorney when it was something that was necessary or something we felt was going to be controversial or whatever the case may be. We've never included the city council when there are routine matters that we're just going to kick things around and give reports from committees and so on and so forth. So I think we've been doing a great job. I don't see the necessity to have the city attorney there at routine work sessions. And I will defer that to the president of the council, and if she wants to schedule another work session, I would recommend that you specifically say which department heads you want there rather than leaving it up to administration, and we can ask that they be there to give their updates. So.
Thank you. Mayor, you can continue.
Yeah, just as a matter of information, 2 of the 5 items on the agenda last Wednesday could have had potential legal problems. Anyway. I would like to applaud the youth of the country for speaking up on gun violence. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the protests during the Vietnam era. I hope that the momentum continues so that we could have a discussion, a two-way discussion, as Mr. Henke alluded to. There was a volatile, provocative mailer by some attorneys taking advantage of the anxiety from the HBO documentary on Westlake and Coldwater Creek. The Corps of Engineers have been doing a cleanup, very effective cleanup of Coldwater Creek, but we're going to ask the federal government to accelerate that with more funding. The funding is slowing the work down. If they had more funding, we could get more done faster. They've completed one of our parks, and the next place that they're going to work at St. Ferdinand Cemetery. We have 4 pieces of property that are touched by that creek, including golf course and St. Ferdinand Parks, Coldwater Common Park, and Abishan Park. Abishan's been cleaned up. We have this Friday night we have a youth, the first youth event of the year. The 5th through 8th graders have the skating rink to themselves on Friday, March 2nd, and that's from 6:30 to 9 p.m. if you're in 5th through 8th grade. That same night, Marygrove has their Bloom event. If you're going, you probably already know about it, but it's a gala to benefit Marygrove Home for Neglected Children that we're very proud is located here in Florissant. And then this coming Saturday night is the Mayor's Shamrock Ball to benefit Valley Industries Sheltered Workshop. I will not be in attendance this year. I've been honored by the United States Navy to review the boot camp graduation this Friday and to speak at the Great Lakes Mayor's Ball Saturday night, be the keynote speaker. We have a lot of Easter happenings coming up in March. Saturday, March 24th, we have the annual Easter egg hunt at 3:15 at the Egan Center. Residents are $2, non-residents are $5. So get your tickets from JFK or Egan Center. And also, I want you to put your left thumb up and your right thumb down, and it's buckle up, phone down, and that's what the letters BUPD mean. So we want you to be a bubbed head. Mayor Kerry Tagan of Jefferson City and I, and along with Sly James, Mayor of Kansas City, we're participating in a news release to try to encourage drivers in the legislature to pass a primary seatbelt law and a ban on texting for all ages, not just 21 and under. And Missouri is really at the bottom of the nation when it comes to traffic accidents and traffic safety. So the Missouri Highway Department has told all of their employees to buckle up, phone down, and we'd like for all the residents in our city and state to buckle up, phone down, and that's why we have those signs out there with BUPD, buckle up, phone down. Thanks.
Thank you. The next regular meeting for the City Council will be on Monday, March 12th, 2018. Councilman Parson moves to adjourn, seconded by Mr. Lee. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all for attending.